Today I asked the special story. The name of story, The Book of Nature. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru was a great freedom fighter and the first Prime Minister of independent India. He was a very good writer as well. The discovery of India, glimpses of world history and autobiography are some of his noted works. During the late 1920s, he wrote a series of letters to his young daughter Indira to share his ideas, thoughts, and knowledge with her. These letters were later compiled into a book titled Letters from a Father to His Daughter. The present excerpt is an excerpt from the book. When you and I are together, you often ask me questions about many things and I try to answer them. Now that you are at Missouri and I am in Allahabad, you cannot have these talks. I am therefore going to write to you from time to time short accounts of the story of our earth and the many countries, great and small, into which it is divided. You had read a little about English histories and India histories, but England is only a little island, and India, though a big country, is really a small part of the earth's surface. You we want to know something about the story of this world of ours. We must think of all the countries and all the peoples that have inhabited it, and not merely of one little country where we may have been born. I am afraid I can only tell you very little in these letters of mine, but that little I hope will interest you and make you think of the world as a whole and of other peoples in it as our brothers and sisters. When you go up, we will read about the story of the earth and her peoples in fat books, and you will find it more interesting than any other story or novel that you may have read. You know, of course, that our earth is very old, millions and millions of years, only animals, and before the animals, there was a time when no count of life existed on the earth. It is difficult to imagine this world of ours, which is so full today of all kinds of animals and men, to be without them. But scientists and those who have studied and thought a great deal about these matters tell us that there was a time when the earth was too hot for any living being to live on it. And if we read their books and study the rocks and the fossils, the remains of old animals, we can ourselves see that this must have been have been so. You read history in books, but in all times when men did not exist, surely no books could have been written. Hi, then can we find out what happened then? We cannot merely sit down and imagine everything. This would be very interesting, for we could imagine anything we wanted to and would thus make up the most beautiful fairy tales. But this need not be true, as it would not be based on any fact that we had seen. But although we have no books written in those all of days, fortunately we have some things which tell us a great deal as well, almost as a book would. We have rocks and mountains and his and stars and rivers and deserts and fossils of old animals. These and other like things are our books for the earth. Early story. And the real way to understand this story is not merely to read about it in other people's books, but to go to the great book of nature in itself. You will, I hope, soon begin to learn how to read this story from the rocks and mountains. Imagine how fascinating it is. Every little stone that we see lying in the road or on the mountain sound may be a little page in nature's book and may be able to tell you something if you only knew how to read it. To be able to read any language, Hindi or Urdu or English, you have to learn its alphabet. So also you must learn the alphabet of nature before we can read her story in her books of stone and rock. Even now, perhaps we know a little how to read this if we see a little round, shiny pebbles. Does it not tell you something? How did it get round and smooth and shiny without any corners or rough edges? If we break a big rock into a small bits, each bit is rough and has corners and rough edges. It is not at all like a round, smooth pebbles. How then did the pebbles become so round and smooth and shiny? It will tell you its story if you have good eyes to see and ears to hear it. It tells you that once upon a time, it may be long ago, it was a bit of a rock just like the bit you may break from a big rock or stone with plenty of edges and corners. Probably it rested on some mountain side. Then came the rain and washed it down to the little valley where it found a mountain stream which pushed it on and on till it reached a little river. And the little river took it to the big river, and all the while it rolled at the bottom of the river, and its edges were away, and its rough surface made smooth and shiny. So it became the pebbles that you see. Some high the river left it behind, and we found it If the river had carried it on, it would have become smaller and smaller till at last it became a grain of sand and joined brothers at the seaside to make a beautiful beach where little children can play and make castles out of the sand. This is my attractive story channel. Please look it at anytime, all the time. And do not